everyone knows royal protocol like Your Majesty. As England's longest reigning sovereign, Queen Elizabeth II has devoted her life to the crown and all the rules and restrictions that come with it. And while there are things she's not allowed to do, being one of the most powerful women in the world comes with certain privileges that no one else has, not even the rest of the royal family. Today we've unveiled the best 30 things Queen Elizabeth II can do that no one else can, and it's most amazing. Things to do with being Queen of England. Number 1. Drive a car without a license. The Queen usually has a chauffeur, but sometimes she prefers to get behind the wheel. Just don't expect to see him at the DMV. He is the only person in the country who can drive without a driving license. Number 2. Drive without a number plate. Of course, the Queen is an important person for the whole world. That is why it is important to keep his exact position and his place-time vessel secret from the world. So, it's not hard to find a Queen Elizabeth car, because it will be the only car on the road without a number plate. Number 3. Decide the royal dress code. Members of the royal family and the Queen have the right to do so according to her own rules, that always wearing tights and never bare feet. There are many fashion rules for families, never wearing black as they are strictly reserved for mourning. The Queen has the final say on such matters, and some guidelines are based on his personal preferences. Number 4. Avoid getting arrested. Of course, the Queen's actions have implications for public opinion and the future of the monarchy. But the Queen doesn't have to worry about holding herself back. He has sovereign immunity and therefore cannot be prosecuted. So, nobody in this world has the courage or the right to ever handcuff the Queen. Number 5. Dismiss a Prime Minister. Although she cannot vote or publicly express her political views, the Queen acts as an overarching figure to the British government. It must be an extreme case for her to act. But in what is known as royal prerogative, the Queen can dismiss a Prime Minister at any time, because the Queen's power is greater than that of a Prime Minister of England. Number 6. Go without a last name. Yes guys, Queen Elizabeth is the only person who can sign any document without her last name. Her name Elizabeth alone is enough for the world. Although, his family home grew up with the last name of Windsor. But when she inherited the throne, she kept her former name and took the name Elizabeth Regina. The moniker is Latin for Queen and is used on all official documents. However, in most cases only Elizabeth is enough. Number 7. Legal custody of her grandchildren. It goes back to King George, who ruled in the early 1700s. He did it because he had a bad relationship with his son, the future King George II, so they passed this law, and the law never changed after that. This means that the Queen is the guardian of her grandchildren. Royal expert Marlene Koenig said in 2018, "We can't imagine Queen Elizabeth ever implementing this, because Queen Elizabeth used it as needed." Number 8. Open Parliament in the UK. Queen Elizabeth is the head of country. Although many see Queen Elizabeth as a symbolic figure in government, but she has many responsibilities as head of country. One of them is to preside over the state opening of Parliament every year. And without him it is impossible. Number 9. He can skip paying taxes. Queen Elizabeth is not only Queen of England, she was Queen of 32 sovereign states or countries during her lifetime. He is also one of the richest people in the country. As a sovereign, he is exempt from taxation. He is deprived of the right to tax. But he voluntarily pays taxes on his income, wealth, and profits, but not used for official royal purposes. Number 10. Travel without a passport. Yes guys, the Queen doesn't have her own passport, since all British passports are issued by the Queen herself, There is no need for the queen to have one. But he had the power to travel to any country in the world without a passport. Earlier this right belonged to all members of the royal family, but in law it only applies to the queen. Number 11. Avoid jury duty. Yes guys, you heard right. The queen is the only person who has the power to overturn a jury summons. It was earlier that the entire royal family was exempted from being called to jury duty, because the criminal justice bill demanded that it would cause disruption for the queen if members of her circle were called to serve. But in 2003, this law was amended, and then only the queen herself is now exempt. Number 12. Ignore speed limits. Speed limits do not apply to the queen, especially when he is being formally escorted. The Road Traffic Regulation Act allows emergency services vehicles to break the speed limit, and as the queen is escorted by police officers, she is given the same right. Number 13. Celebrate 2 birthdays. Do you want to celebrate your birthday more than once a year? As sovereign, Queen Elizabeth gets it. He can celebrate his birthday twice a year. Her actual birthday is celebrated privately on April 21st, and her royal birthday is marked by the Trooping the Colour ceremony on the second Saturday in June. Number 14. Keep her finances private. The Queen and the royal family have the right to keep their financial affairs private. Therefore, there is no need to disclose any personal matters like financial matters. Nevertheless, members of the royal family disclose their use of public money every year. However, the Freedom of Information Act, which came into force in the UK in 2005, gives the public the power to access any information held by the government. Number 15. Own unclaimed swans in England. Yes, you heard that right. As surprising as this may sound, the truth is that technically any and all unmarked mute swans swimming in open water belong to the Queen of England. The king claimed animal rights in the 12th century. Number 16. Not curtsy. Cursing is a huge part of royal etiquette, but you won't find the Queen perfecting this move. As protocol dictates, the Queen is cursed and need not return the gesture. All female members of the royal family are expected to greet the Queen with a ceremonial chair at each first address, while male members must bow. Number 17. Go cashless. Queen Elizabeth II never carries money, a palace source revealed in the latest issue of Us Weekly. Except one day of the week, like a Sunday. She donates to the church's collection basket, says a source of the 89-year-old monarch, whose appearance adorns every pound. And crumpled bills won't do. His butler folds a £5 note into a small square and irons it until you can just see his face. Number 18. Put her face on the currency in multiple countries. Do you know? 35 countries around the world have Queen Elizabeth on their currencies. She is the only living queen to have her likeness on coins and bills from different countries. And she holds the Guinness World Record for most coins featuring the same person. Number 19. Give out the knighthoods. As queen, she can award a knighthood to any citizen for their achievements or service to their country. The event that takes place is called an investiture. An investiture is a very special day when anyone who is honored receives their award in person from the Queen. From the Queen or members of the royal family. The investiture visits a royal residence, usually Buckingham Palace, with members of their family in this royal honor. Number 20. Have access to special jewelry. When it comes to royal jewelry, it runs in all families. Over the centuries, members of the British royal family have passed down priceless gems from one generation to the next. Some pieces are personally owned by the emperor, while those used for coronations and other important occasions are considered crown jewels. The rest are part of the royal collection. However, as queen, she has direct access to any piece. Number 21. Decide what jewelry is loaned out. As the saying goes, a heavy head wears a crown. But as it happens, the intricacies of who will wear which tiara are a complex one, and it's up to Queen Elizabeth to decide. Because like everything related to royalties, there are rules and regulations regarding their design and use. It's not just Queen Elizabeth who gets to wear priceless pieces. For formal events, such as state dinners or royal weddings, Queen Elizabeth decides which tiaras and jewels she will lend to her family or future family members. Sparkling titles have historically denoted royal lineage, status, and heritage, however extravagant or elaborate. Design and use follows a few simple rules. They don't completely surround the head like a crown. Generally speaking, royal tiaras appeared on Queen Elizabeth's family members as she lent them for special occasions. Number 22. Choose the royal menu. With a team of world-class chefs, anything the Queen wants to eat is available to her. Access to the best food that money can buy, and dining rooms at palaces across the UK, you would have thought meal times are always prestigious in the Windsor household. The Queen is presented with a menu twice a week for her to decide upon. Number 23. Access all royal residences. Although Queen Elizabeth's official residence is Buckingham Palace, she moved into the palace soon after she ascended the throne in 1952. But he can easily travel to all the royal palaces whenever he wants. He divides his time between the royal residences available to him. Number 24. Issue royal warrants. A royal warrant of appointment is a document that appoints a company or individual to a trading capacity in the royal household, and which entitles the holder of the royal warrant to use the royal arms in connection with their business. Numerous companies have been issued royal warrants over the years, which appoint a company or person in a business capacity within the royal household, and it is the Queen who grants them. Most famously, Fulton Umbrellas has one and makes color-coordinated parasols for the Queen. Number 25. Decide when dinner ends. At a royal dinner, you always need to keep one eye on your food and the other on the Queen. There is no time to waste eating at Buckingham Palace. This is because, when the Queen is done with her dinner, according to royal etiquette, the meal is over. Number 26. Approve of royal marriage proposals. Under the Succession to the Crown Act, the first 6 members of the royal family in line to the crown must have the Queen's consent to marry. So, marriage without the Queen's consent would be a legal offense. Number 27. Declare war. The Queen has the power to declare war and peace under the royal prerogative. Royal prerogatives are special powers that belong only to the Crown. The Queen also has the power to commit British troops to an armed conflict under royal prerogative. He can send troops into areas of armed conflict whenever he wants. Number 28. Own the Bentley State Limousine. Built to honor Her Majesty for the Queen's first 50 years on the throne, this one-off Bentley luxury car was developed with input from the Duke of Edinburgh, Her Majesty's head chauffeur and Her Majesty herself, and was used for several official engagements. More than 2 decades. While the President of the United States has the Beast, Queen Elizabeth opted for something a little more elegant. His car is known as the Bentley State Limousine. Number 29. Grant a criminal pardon. Queen Elizabeth's special legal powers include the power to grant the royal prerogative of clemency, which pardons a person from any criminal conviction. In 2020, in an incredibly rare move by the Queen, killer and London Bridge terror attack hero Stephen Gallant has been granted the royal prerogative of mercy, meaning he can be released from prison early. Number 30. Have a private ATM. It would be quite convenient to have your own personal cash machine. And apparently there is a person in the UK who has such a luxury. Queen Elizabeth will never know the predicament of running to the bank before it closes. Because the Queen has her personal ATM, it held the basement of Buckingham Palace. The cash dispensers provided by the British bank, Coutts. It's only available to the royal family.
So guys, I hope you like this presentation. For more important and informative presentations, stay tuned to the channel and press the bell icon by subscribing. See you in the next video.